health, and fitness. So today I want to talk about. Welcome back to my channel. This is Danielle Trains, where we talk about all things health and fitness. So today I want to talk about weight gain and why it happens. So I'm gonna be telling on myself a little bit here, but hopefully I'm gonna say some things that help you out as well. So stay tuned. We're gonna break this down, and hopefully you get something out of it. So why does weight gain occur? All right, number one reason why I believe that weight gain happens to a lot of people, the majority of the population over time, is ease of use, convenience, and speed. So, and I lump all of those together because, when you think in terms of like, okay, if you are not in healthy habits and you're trying to create and establish a healthy habit, it is not convenient, it's not easy, and it takes time. Whereas in life now, we're very much speed, convenience, and ease of use society. So if it's not those three things, it's not generally the decision that we'll go with. So, and that's not to say that living a healthy lifestyle is harder, it's just out of the norm because most of the products that are for sale, be it food or any type of daily productivity, is all centered around ease of use, convenience, and speed because we are busy people. Most people are working 40 plus hours a week and have other obligations like family or children and stuff outside of that. So, when you think in terms of this, like it's just really part of the natural process of becoming an adult and having different responsibilities that you didn't have as a teenager that make it just easier to fall into unhealthier habits. The second one is that those quick and easy and convenient food options, well, they're also engineered to be more appealing. Like in taste, feel, smell, texture, like all of these things, like they're designed to be for you to somewhat get addicted to them, so that you continue to buy more. That's customer loyalty. You're gonna keep coming back and buying more because it satisfies your taste buds. It satisfies, like it interacts with your body on a on a level, like with chemistry, that just like really sets all your synapses off, and you're just like experiencing some euphoria when you eat it. Like we don't think about it in those terms, but that's what's happening. Like these different processed foods and stuff are engineered to really interact with our biology in that way, so that you have this really good feeling when you're eating it. And we crave that feeling. We often associate food with a feeling. Like, people say it all the time, oh man, that like this cheesecake is giving me life, or you know what I'm saying, like stuff like that. And it's like they're, to some degree, they're telling the truth, like, because they're experiencing a euphoria when they eat that food. So food can be addictive, and I've experienced that. I'm a big burger guy, so like eating burgers, like for me for the longest was like, man, like this tastes so good, like I can just eat them continuously, like all the time. So it's not just that it's easy and convenient, but then also on a level there is an addiction there, and it's hard to break that because it's not just that it tastes good, but it is interacting with your brain in a way that makes it more appealing, so that you want to continue to buy more. All right, so the third reason why weight gain and unhealthy lifestyles occur is that we are not taught how to live a healthy lifestyle. We're not taught how to maintain our weight, and there's a lot of miseducation out there. So there's, thousands of different health gurus, weight loss gurus, muscle building gurus, all of this stuff out there. And I'm not trying to be one of them, by the way. I'm just somebody who has worked in the industry and has experienced a lot in terms of working with people and getting feedback from them as to what they're actually dealing with. And now I'm actually somebody who has experienced weight gain unintentionally and wants different for myself. So the miseducation is that the focus is usually on diet and exercise, either one or the other or both of them, but it neglects different areas that actually really impact your weight, really impact your overall health, such as sleep, such as hydration, stress management, how to approach these things if you are on medication or have some type of medical challenges that you're dealing with. How do you manage your lifestyle so that it is healthier, just being normal, and then also having a medical challenge? These things are not taught. So it leaves a lot of people out there looking for information, and there's no lack of information about any of these subjects. If you just Google them, if you Google sleep, you'll probably get over 1 million different hits of different articles or websites you can go to find out more about sleep. But again, we look for speed and convenience, and it's like, I don't want to research sleep and how much, what quality sleep is, how many hours of each stage of sleep should I get, what can I do to increase my melatonin production at night without taking melatonin. Like, most people don't want to dig deep into these different areas that really impact their health, but it's super important. And there needs to be something that can pull it all together into a neatly packaged gift for you, so that it's more convenient. And I think that actually does need to exist, because we are busy, and I understand somebody that's not in the profession, really maybe not even thinking about researching all of these things. But the problem is that because there isn't that education out there, and the focus is generally just on diet and nutrition, and a lot of the information out there about that is not always the best, that you have a lot of people frustrated because they've been trying for 10 years to lose weight and it hasn't happened. So at different stages in their life, they give up and they say, whatever, I'm just going to live. And then they come to different points in their life where they want to lose weight, and each time they fail, and then they start over, and the cycle continues like that. So, that is another reason why weight gain occurs, because the lack of education out there is how to really have a fully healthy lifestyle, not just diet and exercise. And then you have people yo-yo dieting, and then going to the gym and really beating themselves down for about a week or two, and then quitting. So they go from sedentary to spiking their activity way up to back to sedentary, then back up. And the same thing with their diet. They're going from very high calorie diet to a low calorie, high calorie, low calorie, high carbs, no carbs, high fat, no fat, and it just messes with the body's metabolism, messes with the way that you function, that you feel day to day, your hormones. Like, all of these things have to continue to adjust instead of being more level and just functioning optimally on a daily basis. So, as somebody goes through their life cycle, if they, diet 20 different times, and that's maybe on the low end for a lot of people, because a lot of people are doing that in a year, 20 different times that they restart a diet. So, but that's a lot to put on the body, as far as, stressing it out. Like, what should I expect? Are you gonna deprive me, or are you gonna nourish me? And that's something that I hope by following this channel, following me, that you will stop doing. I'm not gonna encourage you to diet, to deprive yourselves of anything. I'm gonna encourage you to eat a very nutrient dense diet and to focus on that. and also I'm going to encourage you to start where you're at as far as your physical, or your fitness, and continually build up, because the key to this is mentally you want to get to the point where you actually prefer the healthier options. And that is a segue into the next reason why weight gain occurs over most people's lifespan, into a unhealthy range, I should say, to being overweight or obese. And that is because, it's taught that it's just a physical battle. It's, it's not mentioned a whole lot, if at all. I don't know if I've seen it very much at all, that is actually more of a mental and emotional battle. There's so many reasons why people eat the way they eat, so many reasons why they may not exercise, so many reasons why they can't sleep at night, or why they don't drink water, or all of these different things that they may do that contribute to an unhealthy lifestyle and ultimately weight gain. And I think by ignoring the fact that it is more mental and emotional, that you kind of set people up to fail. And unfortunately, like, there's very few companies out here that make mention of weight loss being a mental and emotional battle, as well as physical, and in fact even more so mental and emotional. um, so just to give you guys a few examples, the way you eat largely depends on how you were raised. So if you were raised on certain foods, it's likely that you still eat those same type of foods now. Um, you know, if you're with your parents from birth to the age of 18, so you eat that way for 18 years, it's kind of hard to just move away from that if you don't know anything different. So that's the reason why. And then another thing is, like, we're taught from an early age to celebrate with food, um, to entertain ourselves with food, to celebrate with food. So when you think about it that way, food is like the centerpiece of a lot of our uh, socializing. A lot of our socializing is at the center. It's the centerpiece of the way that we relax, the way that we decompress. You see it on TV shows, you see it on movies. You have this, this professional and the way, and they show them throughout their day, and they have this, kind of busy lifestyle, and they're, succeeding and all that. And the way that they de-stress is they have a glass of wine and some food or something when they get home, and they kind of just eat that. You don't see them eat anything else, and it's like, that's just, and some people, that's what they, that's life imitating art. Is learned, because there's not a whole lot of people that can say the first time that they drank any alcoholic beverage, wine included, or beer, that they just enjoyed it, like it was just like the best thing they ever had. But you know fast forward years later, now they can't live without it, because they've built a routine around it. They built a routine, like, they associate it with being able to relax. They associate it with that vacation that they took with their friends, or that fun night that they had out with their spouse. They associate it with family get-togethers. All of these positive experiences around a habit that, when done in excess, is unhealthy for them. So, to really overlook the fact that when you're trying to change your habits, that there may be some really deep rooted reasons why you're doing things the way that you're doing them, is gonna set you up to be very frustrated and, frankly, and unsuccessful. Um, so you have to acknowledge that aspect of this journey. Okay, the final reason why I believe weight gain occurs for most people over their lifespan, even when they want to lose weight, is because they obsess over that number on the scale. And this, as a coach, is probably the most frustrating thing that I have to deal with on a daily basis. Is that you can be doing all the right things. You could be eating more nutrient dense foods and staying within a good amount of calories for your body and what you actually need to nourish yourself. You could be drinking more water and exercising, getting better sleep, and all of these positive things can be happening. But if the scale doesn't move, you don't feel like it's worth it. And that is frustrating. And I don't mean to laugh, like to make light of it, but it is kind of crazy when you think like there's so many other reasons why you would want to live a healthy lifestyle, and weight honestly should be kind of the least exciting thing that happens, but people tend to focus really on that outcome, and that usually derails them because it's so much easier to get discouraged if you're focused on just the outcome of having a lower number on the scale, simply because there's so many different factors that can influence your weight on a daily basis. So if you're looking at that at the scale for some reassurance of what you're doing is right, sometimes you can be misled because the scale, you might have a weight fluctuation. Maybe you had a little bit more sodium. Maybe you had more stress, or you just didn't digest something well, and you still have the stomach contents, and that has added weight, onto you for that period of time, and I think that when you focus on just the outcome and you don't pay enough attention to the details of the process, you start to neglect that process. And the whole thing is, the process is really it's the work and the reward. Because when let's say your goal is to lose 100 pounds, if you lose 100 pounds, that's not the end of your journey, because you still have to maintain that. So whatever habits you developed, or whatever you were doing with your diet, whatever you're doing with your exercise, your sleep, your hydration, all of these things, whatever you're doing then, you're going to have to continue to do on some level, to maintain that weight loss that you achieved. And that's really what I think a lot of people kind of overlook. Like, okay, once I lose the weight, I'm not going to be able to just start binge eating pizzas again, or just start drinking, having 2 or 3 beers every night like I used to. Like, it doesn't work like that. You'll just gain the weight back. And so the obsession with the number really takes away from people starting appreciating the process. Because once you fall in love with the process, you fall in love with the things that that will produce the results you want, then it'll be sustainable for a lifetime. Because the plain and simple fact is, we only continue to do what we either A, enjoy, or B, are obligated to do. And that's just facts. Like, a lot of people don't like their job, but they show up whenever they're supposed to be there. They are there because they're obligated to be there, because they're obligated to pay their bills. A lot of people, they know they could be doing something more productive than binge watching the latest show on Netflix, but they binge it because they're entertained. They enjoy what they're watching. So that's the category that you really want to fall into, is because you're probably not gonna ever feel obligated to eat healthier, or to get more sleep, or to exercise. So you have to develop a fondness for it. If you don't develop a fondness for it, then it's gonna be really hard for you to sustain it over for your lifespan. And that's it sucks, but a lot of people, they in their mind, they think that they want a long-term result, but really they just want a short-term result. So for a specific amount of time, they can look good for a picture, or look good for an event, and get those compliments and get that attention, but in their minds, they have it settled on the fact that, okay, this number is irrelevant if I can't sustain it. And really the number is irrelevant because it doesn't tell the whole story. Because you could be 115 pounds and have diabetes. You can be, so it doesn't tell the story of if you're actually healthy or not. Neither does appearance, and that's not to pick on anybody that's in that situation, but there's so many things to consider when you talk about health, when you talk about weight gain and weight loss. Lots of things to consider, and I think obsessing over a number that really doesn't tell you a whole lot is, one of those things that sets you up for failure in that way. All right, so the part that most importantly to probably to you if you're watching is what do I do if I want to avoid more weight gain, if I want to actually start going the opposite way? Well, the first thing I would say that you need to do is start to look at this as a long-term goal, and not a long-term goal in terms of a number, but a long-term goal in terms of changing the way that you do things, And I know that sounds daunting. Like, what? I don't really want to change my whole lifestyle. But see, that's the type of thinking that like I want you to start to kind of deal with, because there's gonna be resistance in certain areas, and there always is. But the truth is, if you really want different results than what you've gotten, then you have to be willing to change things, because you can't do things the same way that you've been doing them and get different results. So the first thing is mentally preparing that I have to change permanently. Not temporarily, but permanently. And this is, that is one of the hardest things to do, is to really deal with that. Like, okay, and that's not to say like, I'll never eat ice cream again, or I'll never have cake again. But it's putting these things in their place as to, okay, when. Like you control, or you control and plan when you'll have these things, not you just give into it whenever it's offered to you, So that's step number one. Settle in your mind that you're going to be making long-term or permanent changes to your lifestyle and all the areas that I've talked about: diet, exercise, sleep, hydration, stress management. Now, the second thing is that you want to pick one or two things to start out with, like healthy habits to start out with, that you can really make a commitment to. And you want to start there. And start with those. Maybe it's just one thing. You start with that one thing, and you stick with that for a week or two, because this is gonna like give you some early success. And you need to build momentum when you're trying to establish a healthy lifestyle. When you're trying to lose weight, you want to build up momentum really slowly, because if you do it slowly, then it'll be more sustainable. When you do it fast, like, yes, it's exciting because it's like boom, from 1 week, then 3 weeks later you're looking like a lot different. But when you do it in a more sustainable manner, like the results at the end of the day will be much more than if you just like try and like bang bang bang, like let me just go 100 right off the rip. So along with that, you want to develop a plan, and maybe you're able to do that on your own. Maybe you need some assistance. What I'm building here is a community where you can come and discuss these things, where I'm going to be talking about, my own health plan, as far as like healthy lifestyle plan, as far as exercise, diet, sleep, hydration, stress management, all those things. But you need a plan, something that you can kind of see the progression of what you're doing, from what you're doing now to where you will be 6 months from now in terms of your healthy habits. Because as you progress in those, your progress towards whatever your aesthetic goals are and all those things, that's when those start to become a reality, when you're progressing with the habits. because the process is what produces the results. So remember that. The next thing that you need to do, and this is tough, you have to put a filter on what you're allowing in through your eye gate, your ear gate, and what you're saying out of your mouth. So you have to make sure that you're not focusing your attention on things that are going to tempt you more with food, things that are going to cause you to get into other practice unhealthy lifestyles. And that's tough because it's in almost, again, every media outlet that you can find. You'll come across these things, and it's maybe just you limiting your time exposing yourself to those things that will help, because they just kind of perpetuate what you've already the habits that you're already in. So you have to put a filter on what you're watching, and filter on what you're listening to, so that you can start to speak out of your mouth and confess over yourself those things that you really want to be true. you know so you got to watch things like, saying like, I can't live without this food, or I can't go, I can't function without having my coffee or my caffeine. I need at least 3 cups of coffee a day, and all of this stuff. Like, you just really saying stuff that's like, it's not going to be productive towards your goal. So, putting that filter over your eyes, ears, and mouth will really start to help change your mentality when it comes to the changes that you're making. And then the fourth thing is, make a commitment. Make a quality decision that you are going to see it through to the end. Not to the end, but you're going to see it through until you have established these habits, and that you're going to make a concerted effort to not just do it, but to find something enjoyable in it. So when it comes to exercising, making sure that you're doing something that, maybe it's not just you lifting weights or whatever, like you'll be seeing me do, but that you're, maybe you play a sport, or maybe you get involved in some type of running club or something. If you need it to be social, like, you do something like that so you can find some enjoyment in it. Make sure that you are, trying new recipes, and like, finding reasons to get excited about healthier foods. For me, data is something that really excites me. So, maybe investing in some wearable technology that will monitor your sleep, so it could give you feedback on how well you're sleeping, and all of these different things where you can track your water. But make a commitment and be open-minded about finding a way to make living a healthy lifestyle enjoyable. So thank you for tuning in. If you got anything out of this video, if you like it, actually hit the thumbs up button down there. Subscribe, turn on the post notifications, share this with your friends if they need maybe some encouragement, or they just are kind of lost in terms of their own health journey. But thanks again. I'll see you on the next video.